GM. GM. So, trade of the day. In the Swing Trader chat, I mentioned last night that I shorted Render, Whiff, and Pepe as swing trades. Because my belief is that the market is quite likely to go lower, maybe to new lows, maybe back to support, maybe down to the lows, wherever it goes, I don't know. The only setups I see on my systems for swings are shorts, not longs. I think it's still too soon for any big breakouts. So keeping it very simple, Render from the top to the bottom here has this point of control at this area, which is inside this daily candle, this big wide daily candle that was preceded the break, and that's the daily order block, and that's where my invalidation is. Where I've put the red line is where I shorted. So I'm short from 1054 on Render. But it's a wide stop up here. And this is a swing. This is potentially multiple weeks. This could take that amount of time to get down, right? It could take until the mid-end of the month. And so I've entered a small amount of Render, small amount of Whiff, small amount of Pepe with a wide stop, and I'm waiting for confirmation, more confirmation, before I add. This is the beginning of a potential reversal, but there's still a lot left to be done. From a 4-hour chart perspective, I'd need to see Render have further weakness and break lower, and then short any bounce that will come, and I would add to it there. Or it might consolidate here, have another push into that order block and into that point of control up at 10.99, basically 11. And if it rejected off that back inside, I would add to my short somewhere around there. So I've opened early shorts. These are early, make no mistake, because when you look at this is still the uptrend just starting to weaken, and I'm fully expecting that we could see a push and a push, right? Even if you just look at how a head and shoulders would form, for example, if it is going to be something like that, we've maybe got the right shoulder done, right? And then you have the head, and you have the left shoulder, and then it actually breaks down next week at some point. I started shorting because I've seen many times in my system say to short at this point, because sometimes you don't get any bounce. Sometimes it just drops like that, weakens, and that's it. If it's over, it's over. So that's Render. Pepe, short from the red line as well. So Pepe came up, pushed into the highs, rejected. Pretty strong rejection here on this push. Took out those stops. So it set some consolidation over the weekend, swept it on Monday morning, broken down, break of structure along the way. The last real strong, that is a swing low by the way before the highest high, but the next strongest swing is down here that I would need to see like a double break. And so again, if Pepe drops down to here, breaks that, bounces back up, is unable to reclaim, and is showing sideways distribution, then I'll add to the short there. On Pepe, the stop is currently 987, so basically 10. My stop on Pepe is all the way up here right now. So again, you see I'm using wider stops because I'm expecting as well, Pepe has one push, two pushes. I wouldn't be surprised to see a third push to take those highs. So I don't think tops are necessarily in for all of these. So I'm scaling in. With much weaker, much stronger position. And the red line is where I'm short from. Same thing. It took the highs. I think the top is in for Whiff. If my setup is correct, I think the top is in. It set that level. It broke it. It broke it, swept below, swept above, came back below, retested it, was unable to hold, and down it has drifted and dropped. So I think Whiff is going, and the reason Whiff as well, I think Whiff goes to here. If the market rolls over, if Bitcoin loses 56, 57, I think Whiff has a full extra leg down to come, which would be like You could even just say it's an equal distance from this previous leg here. Right? And I could see it as going to $1. Why not? Everyone thinks it can't happen, from what I see on Twitter. Anytime you think something can't happen, yeah, crypto will always surprise you. But, and the invalidation for WIF is wide as well, 388. 388. So as you can see, I'm being very, very wide with my stops. To begin with, I will tighten those up. So if I see what I want to see, further weakness, I bounce into here, unable to hold, and I add to it somewhere over there, I will also move the stop right down. Right down to the high initially, and I'll drag the stop down, I'll drag the stop down as I compound. I will compound aggressively on these by moving my stop aggressively. And I don't care if I get stopped out, because it's a bull market, and I'm not trying to short these things to zero or say that it's all over, it's all dead, and it's all done. It's basically, the opportunity's there, the market's still long, and I still think the market is basically just burying their heads in the sand, saying, this is all bullish. Nothing about this chart's bullish. That can all change, right? But nothing about this chart is bullish. It's just a bear flag. Breaks down, bounces up, dips down, sweeps the highs. This is just a bear flag. The really bullish chart was here. Look, up and to the right. Just up only. Fucking 4 hour bands. Green. You're going to go to like, let's say, 12 hour. Solid uptrend all the way. Bands green the entire way. A little tiny break. Now the bands are just predominantly red. Daily chart. Green bands. Break them. Bands went red. Briefly green again, but it's about to lose that. Close to losing it. Hasn't lost it yet. The uptrend's over though. So if the uptrend's over, I'm only looking at shorts. So we'll see how it goes. They're all in profit at the moment. Pretty much right after I put them on, Bitcoin had a little breakdown. So the meme coins are actually stronger than Bitcoin right now, which is not a good thing. Like I showed this on, I'll show this and then I'll finish. I showed this on Trade of the Day. Or no, sorry, not Trade of the Day. I showed this on the live stream yesterday. Don't think that the altcoins outperforming is a good thing, because it never has been. Altcoins outperforming when Bitcoin is weak, that's the key thing. Altcoins outperforming when Bitcoin is weak is not good. So you see over here, if we look at this, even when Bitcoin broke, like had its big show weakness, up here, it's fine. That could be consolidation, that could be bullish. When Bitcoin had this clear breakdown and this follow through, there, this is where Phantom was. Phantom was well inside range, nothing bearish, according to people. They're like, oh, it's just a support resistance flip. That was where Phantom was. While Bitcoin was literally breaking down, and then even drag it forward to where Bitcoin was here, right? Bitcoin was at 43, everything broken. 42, everything broken. The following day, 42k, everything broken. Right before the last big breakdown, Bitcoin just sliding off a cliff. Phantom was still here, right? Phantom was still there, doing green days. And then eventually, boom, away it goes. So I'm seeing that across the market. It's obviously much more dispersed now. We're not all the altcoins are outperforming, but many of them are. And Bitcoin needs to do a lot of work to convince me that that people aren't making the same mistake again. Maybe it's going to be strong, but I tend to think it's going to chop in this area here, and down is more likely than up. So those are the positions. I'm also short Bitcoin, but that's more day trading in and out, so I won't necessarily keep that open. And that's it. GM.